Hey guys and gals, welcome to my channel and welcome back to Roblox Studios. What you're seeing is what I've made so far in my game. What I want to do is I want to go over how to do this. Basically, how to get coins, code them, and get them to spawn, respawn, have them pop up into your stats here. So if you watch, I'll pick up this coin. I got a coin now. If I go and pick up another coin, I got, oh, see, I only got twice. That's a problem that I have that I haven't quite figured out, but it's better than it was. But then again, it's a game, so who cares, you know? I got 2 on that one. Now this, I programmed them purposely to give me between like 1 and 5 or something like that. So yeah, see, I got 5 that time. I got 2 on that coin. I got 5 on that. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how I program these coins to do what you see them doing. They're being picked up, and then you just saw that one respawned right there. That one respawned right there. But I wanted to show you how I did that. But I don't want to show you in this, because I have things in this game that are hidden intentionally, and I don't want to accidentally show them off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to Roblox Studios with a with basically an empty base plate and show you what I did. So hang on a second while I switch over, and yeah, we'll get into the coding. Okay, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Here we are back in Roblox Studios, and this is the basis for what I did. Alright, first you got to get some sort of a mesh that you want as a coin. I was able to go into the toolbox and do a search for a mesh, and I call it coin, and I did a search, and one of these hits was perfect for me, so I went with it. So this was the coin I got. On the flip side, you could always use some sort of programming, some sort of imaging program to make a mesh and import it in. And I'm not going to get into that now. Or you can just take one of these meshes here, whatever you want to do. So I got this mesh, I brought it in, and it came with a bunch of coding in here, and some of it I actually reused, and some of it I took what was there and then I modified it and added to it so the coins did what I wanted. So first things first, once you get a mesh in here, let's see, there we go. I don't know what that thing was, I'll have to look into that. Alright, so once you get a mesh in here, what I would do is I would put down 4 parts, as in this case I just used 4 squares, and what you need to do is you need to get them in a perfect square or a perfect rectangle. It doesn't look perfect because of the angle, but if I went straight above it and looked down, you'd see. So if I click on this, you'll see my position. On the x-axis is -70. The x-axis is left to right. If I check this one, nope, I'm sorry, the x-axis is up and down, is closer to you and away from you. I guess I got 90 degrees off. Yeah. So the x-axis is this way. If you notice, this one is at 70, this one was at 70. If you check this one, it's going to be -50. And then this one over here is going to also be -50. Now the position you put this in is going to be important. So you're going to, in my case, I need the -50 and I need the 70, and that's going to be a random number generated between those two numbers, between -50 and 70, to determine the next x-axis for when I pick up the part and it respawns. And I have to do the same thing for the z-axis. The z-axis in this case is going to go across. The y-axis is vertical, so don't worry about the y-axis. So in this, the z-axis is -17, and this side is also -17. See, so this end is 57.6. I didn't set these right. I set that one to 51. Let's make this one 51 also, so we got a perfect rectangle. 51. There we go. So now we have a perfect rectangle. So we have -60 to 70, and then -17 to 51. Those numbers I have to write down and put off to the side, and I'll tell you why later. It's going to be in my script. But now that we got a rectangle, we got a coin, first thing we need to do is make a leader stats, which is basically the little leaderboard in the upper right-hand corner when you're playing a game. So if you go over here to server script service and click on the plus and make a new script, you can create a new script, call it whatever you want. In this case, I called it player money. So once we go into this script, and I'm not going to retype all of this because I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just going to go over this and tell you what it says and what it does. So game.players.player added connect function player. Basically, that's just saying a player came into the game. We're going to connect this function to that player that came into the game. Okay? Local leader stats. Leader stats is a required thing. It must be called leader stats, otherwise it will not show up. So local leader stats equal instance.new folder. So basically we're creating a folder called leader stats underneath the player's main folder when they come into the game. And then we're going to call the name of that leader stats thing, call it leader stats. Again, required. So now we know we got a leader stats instance known as leader stats underneath the player. And then we're telling it here, leader stats.parent is player. So now it knows where to stick it. So it says this basically, so in other words, line 1 says when a player comes into the game, we're going to make a variable called leader stats, and we're going to call it new, and we're going to make it a folder. The name of that folder is going to be called leader stats. The location of that leader stats folder is the parent is going to be underneath player. Player is going to actually be converted in the game to the name of the character that comes into the game. So my name is Vinny527. So when I come in, it's going to be leaderstats.parent equals Vinny527. The computer does that, Lua does that, Roblox does that on its own, so you don't need to define all of that stuff. But that's basically what this first section says is we're going to make a leader stats folder underneath the player when they come into the game. Now, local cache. So we got another variable called cache. Going to create a new value, a new instance value. We're going to call this variable cache, we're going to call it coins. We're going to give the value of coins 0. And we're going to say that the parent of the coins is going to be in leader stats, which is what we just created up here. So basically what this does, if we run this, I'm going to play it real quick. If we run this, basically all it does is it generates this right over here. So that's what the my player money script does. It builds this and it creates the coins, so it's there. So now we're going to concentrate on the coin itself. Okay? So what we're going to do, what we need to do is we need to create a function where if a player physically makes contact with this object. In this case, it's a coin. Now, you can use any kind of mesh you want, but I'm using a coin because I call them coins. When a player makes physical contact with this coin, we need to do something. In this case, what we need to do is we need to remove the coin from the screen, have it add money into the coins thing, and then we have to have it respawn somewhere else so the player can run around and pick up coins. So what I did is I created a script under the coin. Again, you go over to the coin and you will click on a plus and add a new script. But I already have the script in here. I'm calling the script collect. A lot more goes on than collecting in this script, but that's what I called it. So first, I want to create a variable called amount, and that variable has a value of 1. So basically what that's telling me is that when somebody picks up the coin, it's going to give them 1 unit of value. The local debounce false. The debounce function helps with you not making contact with the coin multiple times before it has a chance to disappear and spawn somewhere else. Basically what it says is if you touch the coin, we're going to turn it off so you can't touch the coin anymore, and then we're going to respawn it and then turn it back on so you can now touch the coin again. However, as you saw before, it doesn't work perfectly, but it does cut it down a lot. You've seen it quite a few times where I was doing it and I was getting 2, 3 coins. There was times I was walking into it and getting 7, 8, 10 coins. So this does, even though it does not perfect, it does work to limit it. Okay, so now we have an amount of 1. So every time we pick up a coin, we're going to be added 1 unit of value to our coins item in the leader stats. So local debounce equals false. I told you that just stops you from touching the thing multiple times. Function on touched. That says, hello, when somebody touches this thing, we have a local value h, which is part.parent find first child humanoid. Basically what that's saying is I'm going to take the humanoid of the player and define it to a variable called h. Alright, here we go. If the debounce is false, then the debounce is true. So this is basically where I'm turning off the ability to touch the coin. When it's false, you can touch the coin. When it's true, you can't. Next thing, if if humanoid is not nil, meaning as long as there's a humanoid there, we're good. We can do this. If it is nil, then we don't do anything and we just end. Which means basically it has to be a person that touches this. It can't be another object on the map. It can't be me carrying a tool or a gun or something and hitting it with a gun or the tool. It has to be my humanoid body part. That's basically what this is saying. So if a humanoid body part touches this coin, then basically what this is saying is basically that the player's child name, basically the name is not a nil. Basically, if the stats is leader stats, if that exists, basically saying is, does the person exist? Does leader stats exist? Does coins exist? If all of them are not nil, or they do exist, then we want to do this piece right here. Okay? So we want to score.value equals score.value plus amount. So basically what we're saying here is it a player? Does he have leader stats? Does he have a score? Does he have coins? If those 3 items are not nil, which means something exists. So if a player name exists, if the player has a leader stats folder underneath it, and if the player has a coins underneath the leader stats, then we can run the rest of the script. So if the score is not nil, in other words, there's a no the score is basically the value under coins. So if the score is not nil, which means the score exists, something is there, whether it's a 0 or anything, it's there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the score value and add it to the score value plus the amount. So in this case, we're going to be adding, let's just say the score value is 10. We're going to be taking 10 equals 10 plus amount, which is defined up here. So it's 10 equals 10 plus 1. So now the score value went from 10 to 11. Next thing we want to do is make this coin reappear somewhere else. So local x is going to be a random number between negative 50 and 70. If you remember, that was the 4 blocks I had. And local z is going to be a random number between negative 17 and 51. So these two numbers are going to be randomly generated, which is going to create a point someplace in this rectangle, and the coin will reappear there. So what this is doing is saying we're going to generate this random number, we're going to generate this random number, and then we're going to do script.parent, parent of the script, which is coin, new position, vector3.new, that says position equals vector3.new, which basically is saying the parent's position is going to change to these coordinates here, x, comma, 4, comma, z. So whatever random number this generates is going to be placed in the x value. Whatever random number it generates is going to be placed in the z value. And the y value, which is the vertical up and down, I have it set to 4. So no matter what, it's going to be at a height of 4. The print command, I did that for testing purposes until I debugged this and got it working right. Okay, then we're going to wait 1/10 of a second, and then we're going to turn the debounce back on. False means on. And then it will be able to be picked up in its new vector 3 position. This script is calling the function onTouched, which is this function here, onTouched. So basically what we're doing is we're programming the function, and then we're telling it to run the function. Yeah, I know it's kind of confusing, but that's what you do. Last thing, if you noticed when I showed you my coins were spinning. So we need to create another script in here, which I called spin script. Pretty simple. While the coin exists, wait no period of time. I probably could take that wait out of there. Script.parent.cFrame equals script.parent.cFrame times blah, blah, blah. Basically all this says is take the frame, take the C-frame of the, basically take the coin, parent.cFrame, the frame of the coin, change its XYZ angle by 0.1. And then run. And while it's true, it keeps running it over and over and over and over. So if it's at first perfectly 90 degrees, then it'll turn it by 0.1 of a circle. Actually, 1 would be a full circle. Yeah, so it turns at 1/10 of a circle at a time, completes a complete revolution after it runs the script 10 times. So if we play this, now I'm going to spawn right in the middle of it, and we see our coin sitting right here. Now I'm going to zoom out so you can see the coin respawn when I pick it up. It's probably pretty far. Let's try that. Alright, so when I pick up the coin, I see it respawned over here within the triangle because I gave it those X and Y coordinates. It keeps staying within the triangle, anywhere random. See that one, if you saw it, it spawned here and then here. If you back it up and somehow play slow, you'll see what I'm talking about. And if you notice, I got 2 coins in there, which means I hit it twice before I picked it up. But if you notice, it's staying within a triangle, and it's just constantly respawning within this triangle. And that's it. Don't know if this all makes sense to you guys. I hope it does. I know I got a lot of editing to do on this right now to get this to within a short period of time. Bing. Wow, went all the way over to this edge. Ding. Ding. Now, just out of curiosity, let's look at the position of this coin. Negative 41, 4, 41. Alright, let's go pick up this coin. Ding. You can see the position change. And I pick it up again. Ding. You can see the position change. Notice the 4 stays constant because the script says it's always going to be 4. Ding. Position changed again. Ding. Moved over here now. Ding. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is over there. So you can see it jumping around. And then what you want to do is you maybe want to copy these coins and make 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 or 100, depending on how many you want and how big of an area you want and how densely populated you want your coins. And then again, like I said, you can do another one. Let's say let's say you have another kind of currency called gems. You can find a gem in the meshes, bring that into your game, copy these scripts right into it, done. And the only thing you'd have to do with that is you would have to add another one of these for the new name. Let's say gems. So you would basically copy this, paste it, change coins to gems, and then you would have coins down here and gems down here. And then when you go to pick this up, you copy these scripts into that gem, and you would change the name. Here it is. You would change this name to gems, and that money will go into that. Picking up that object will be added to the gems category. Alright guys, that's my little tutorial on scripting a respawning coin that you can pick up and put into your inventory, and how to control where it spawns, or I should say how to randomize where it spawns within a certain area. Thanks guys, really appreciate you watching.
Like and subscribe and click the bell.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard my little son. You say it again.
Like and subscribe and click the bell.
That's my son Matthew. So like you said, like, subscribe, comment, set your alerts, and
Click the bell.
yeah, like you said, click the bell. Alright guys, have a good one.